time now for weather with Nebraska Extension Ag Climatologist and Market Journal Chief Meteorologist Al Dutcher. Al, we're officially into November now, and things have been cooling off pretty quickly. What can we expect in the week ahead?
Well, Bill, that storm system that came in Sunday night into Monday, we did see some fairly significant snowfall along the I-80 corridor from essentially Sydney eastward all the way toward our North Platte. You don't have to go very far north or south of that. We've seen the snowfall total drop off, basically in this area 4 to 6 inches, liquid equivalent, between 5/10 of an inch and 7/10 of an inch of moisture. Once you got north or south, snowfall dropped off to just a couple of inches, almost like what the model said. So in that small area, way more than what the models projected, but it kept the cool air in place until we got to the second half of the week, and then we started to see that warming trend move from western Nebraska into eastern Nebraska. And it looks like we're going to have a fairly decent week ahead of us until we see a storm system coming up as we get into the middle to the end of next week. So as we look at the upper air models, the first thing I'll draw your attention to is that high pressure is in place over the southern plains, southwest flow aloft. It's going to move some warmer air into the region at the higher levels of the atmosphere, warmth coming up from the south at the lower layers of the atmosphere. Low pressure develops over southwestern portions of Kansas, and that will basically be a dry frontal boundary because there's really not enough lift or moisture to bring up into our region, anything to act on it. But by the time we get into tomorrow, we'll try to see that trough making its way a little bit farther toward the east, and a little piece of energy will shoot up from that trough, basically looking at some precipitation over the northern Rockies, as once again, we just don't have a deep feed of moisture to the north of us. If we go into Monday, once again, that trough makes it a little bit closer to us. Overall, we're still going to be well above normal temperatures. High pressure looks to be firmly in control. Do have a low pressure system that's trying to show development over north central Colorado, but I think that's what's just going to create a few clouds. And as we get into the day on Tuesday, we see a little bit of a wave moving across the northern plains, and that may cool temperature down slightly across northern Nebraska. We're still going to remain above normal across eastern Nebraska. Most of the precipitation associated with this system will be over the Black Hills. Wouldn't be surprised if some of this creeps a little bit farther south into the northwestern portion of the state. Now on Wednesday, we start to see a flattening out of the jet stream pattern and energy starting to move over the central Rockies, low pressure developing in eastern Montana. We start to get a good fitch of moisture coming up, and it's going to wrap around this system over the northern Rockies and the Pacific Northwest. And by the time we get to Thursday, this trough starts to deepen. Energy comes around the back side of it, and that right now it doesn't appear that we're going to see most of the moisture in Nebraska. It's going to basically lie to the east of us, but we have low pressure over Texas. It's going to lift moisture up with that frontal boundary interacting with it. Snowfall on the backside, a little light flurry activity across eastern Nebraska, and then on Friday the very cold conditions start to return once again, similar to what we experienced earlier in the week. We're not going to have much in the way of any precipitation with this system as it's going to move off to our east, just a few scatter flurry activity. I will say though that last week this model was pushing this storm system much farther to the west, so be aware that we do have a system coming in next week that could be problematic in terms of precipitation as we get into the middle of next week. 8 to 14 day forecast shows warmth rebuilding in the west, staying cool in the middle part of the country. In terms of precipitation, the dry pattern once again returns to the south of us, much more significant moisture to the east and the northwest of us. Quick look at the forecast for the month of November. Above normal temperatures for the western 2/3 of the state, and in terms of precipitation, basically equal chances above normal, or below normal precipitation.